Joining us now, Alamogordo Tigers head football coach A.J. Cisco. Coach, how are you today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me in.
Thanks for coming in. Tough go of it at Hobbs. It was really that about 4 or 5 minute segment of that second quarter that just kind of spelled your guys' doom in that game.
Yeah, that was, we go down score, make it 7-7 in the second quarter. We did a poor job covering kicks on the kickoffs. We gave up great field position, every one. They go down, score again, and then we throw a bubble screen that we fumble. Score on the next play. They kick off, and they got a penalty, so they're kicking from the 25. We catch it going out of bounds at the 10 or 15, and go another 3 and out and punt, and then there's about a minute and a half left, and they drive the field and score with not too much, I think with 30 seconds left in the first half. And that last 5 minutes kind of decided it because we came back out after halftime. We had success. Offensively, got a big stop. We just could never get off the field again in the second half. And that 5 minutes was brutal for us. 21 unanswered, and we couldn't get a first down.
Yeah. And, yeah, like I said, offensively, as you take that second quarter out, you guys moved the ball pretty well, especially when you got into the I formation. You guys ran the ball really well throughout the night and actually used a lot of things out of that I, threw some passes and did things well. But, yeah, defensively just didn't have the answer to what they were doing offensively for the most part.
We did, and we kept giving up short fields, and that's on us. And even offensively, that second quarter, and through those first 4 drives where we couldn't get a first down or we didn't sustain drives or put points on the board, that's on me calling plays. We just didn't do a good job up front, and we blew schemes. And you saw D linemen running free when we're pulling guys and not blocking back, and that's a lack of communication that falls on my shoulders for our offensive linemen not to be able to handle that in that situation. We jokingly gave Bryson a hard time on Monday. I said, I don't know what you did to those linemen, but you had negative 5 yards rushing at halftime. Because it seemed like every time we got a carry, we were not blocking back on somebody and turning one of those 2 big suckers loose inside in Mackey and Meredith. But, I'm proud of our kids. We challenged them at halftime to respond. And, come out and we get a stop, get the ball back, go right down the field, score. I was very proud of how they responded to the challenge we set forth to them. They kept playing hard. We just couldn't get off the field defensively. But offensively, I thought we really controlled that game offensively up front. And if we would have done that for those first 4 drives that we didn't score the first half, maybe it's a different game. But credit to Hobbs. They made plays when they needed to. They got stops when they needed to and forcing us to punt. So that 4.5, 5 minute mark in that second quarter was kind of the downfall of us.
Yeah. And you talked about it. I mean, it really wasn't just one thing. It was, all 3 phases had some issues at certain points throughout the game and, give you guys obviously an opportunity to work on stuff this week. Unfortunately, it's a short week, and that doesn't make it any easier for you.
It's a little different. In this, and football players and coaches and programs are creatures of habit, so you have a routine of what you do, and then when you throw a Thursday game in there, especially after a tough loss on Friday, it kind of speeds everything up, and we've got to get really refocused and get reorganized in how we do things, and our practice schedules change a little bit, and what we're doing on certain days. Wednesday's kind of a really go-getter day for us, and now we've got to tailor it back a little bit. So creatures of habit, but, Centennial's coming off a bye week, so they're going to be nice, well, and rested, and we're coming off 5 days rest, so let's go get them.
Yeah. Well, and we'll say you guys had, I think, the same thing last year. I think the way the schedule worked out, it was the exact same thing. You guys played on a Thursday. Now, you might have played Centennial on Friday last year.
We got them on a Thursday.
Oh, does it? Okay.
After a bye week.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. And I was talking about it earlier in the week. I was like, man, this seems really familiar. Like we did this last year.
Both Cruces schools, that last year and this year, we get them on a Thursday night, and they're both have a bye week the week before, so. Kudos to them.
Doesn't make it any easier for y'all, but I know that you guys by no means you're not going to use excuses. You're not going to use any of that. You're going to go out and try to prepare. Let's talk about Centennial a little bit. Cruces, I think, has shown themselves to be the class of the district. Centennial, they played a tight game against Carlsbad. I think Centennial and Hobbs are probably kind of close to each other in terms of how good they are. So you guys obviously know you got another big challenge in front of you.
We do, and we told our kids, and we've told them from the start of the year, if we want to host a playoff game, we got to beat one of the big 3. And we didn't get that job done in Hobbs on Friday. The best part about being in this district is you get another one really fast, and we get another opportunity tomorrow night to take on a number 3 team in the state, and regardless of classes and 6A for sure. And we've got to come out and play well. And it's a golden opportunity for us. And we talk to our kids, we got nothing to lose, man. Like if we do what we're supposed to, we're still going to be in the playoffs. But now we're trying to get to host a playoff game here in Tiger Stadium in front of this community. So it's not a daunting task. Centennial's a quality football team. It's a good program. It's had a lot of success. But it's something that we can accomplish.
Yeah. Centennial offensively, they'll give you, at least in the past, they give you all kinds of different looks. They'll go spread, they'll go line up and run it at you. They'll give you all. I mean, I'm sure it's similar to the same
Nothing's
things.
changed. They're going to give you about 65 different formations that you've seen, about 25 different motions. But I mean, even then, we talk to our kids. They only run a handful of plays. They window dress it very well. They're very well coached. They're very methodical in what they do, and they take shots in the passing game. They're taking shots to hit big plays down the field because they run the ball very effectively. They've got playmakers. The Ramirez kid, number 2, was a stud for him last year. He's back there. When he's not playing running back, they might let him play quarterback some. They're going to let him touch it about 20, 25 times a game, and rightfully so. He's a good football player. They're huge up front, like always. They're really technical up front, very sound. One of the things that kept Carlsbad in that game was, I want to say, Centennial would call for 10 holding penalties. So, I mean, that game's a one-off game with all the other circumstances that went into that game. But it's a good football team. Now, we're going to have our hands full. I think Coach Haney and the defense have come up with a good plan to kind of mitigate them. And if you go to the past years we've had a lot of success offensively against Centennial. One of the big things we haven't been able to do is get off the field in third down. I mean, we go last year, we hung up 35 points, but we give up 61. And that's something that we've really focused on this week. We got to get them off the field. We got to create turnovers, stop them, force them to punt, stop them on downs, and then let our offense have a shot to go and milk some clock down. And that's, I mean, you go to the Hobbs game, we had 2 drives that were over 7 minutes long, which is awesome. It might not be ideal for everybody watching, but for us, it's a great to sit there and methodically just kind of wear people down. But that comes with Coach Haney and his staff coming up with a good plan. I think they did that this week, and we got to be able to execute it on Thursday night.
Yeah, certainly that was the game plan against Hobbs. That'll be the game plan against Centennial, is control the clock, limit possession, score, obviously, on the end of your drives. That's going to give you the best chance to win
Absolutely.
the football game.
We've got to get them off the field, and then we've got to be able to do our stuff up front and physically control the line of scrimmage, which I think we can. You go to that second half, those 2 defense tackles for Hobbs, who might be the 2 best in the state, are really good, and we kind of mitigated that in the second half and did a really good job. Not letting them be playmakers and doing those things. And I thought we handled that off the defensive line and reestablishing line of scrimmage and letting our athletes get a little bit of space. And you saw Bryson, he had negative -5 yards in the first half and then rushes it for over 100 in the second half. Yeah. And so Best does what Best does and gets his yards. But I was really pleased with how we approached the game and how we executed that second half of that game plan. We've got to be able to do the same thing as Centennial, shorten the game, limit possessions, and make sure we kind of wear people down physically.
What did you see special teams-wise that you guys wanted to work on this week? Was it just not doing the things you'd done over the first few weeks of the season? Because you guys, I thought the kick coverage has been great this year.
It has been, and that was something that when we go down there, that first big kick return after we score to make it 7-7, our gunner that is supposed to have outside contain kind of goes inside of a block, and it springs it out to the 50, and it's just one simple guy like that not staying in his lane. So there's been a real refocus on making sure we stay in the lanes. We don't want to kick it to their skill kids. They got really good skill kids back there. Staying in lanes, squeezing, and vicing. And we vice drill every week, and that's something that we have to get better at. We did not do that very well on Friday against Hobbs, and we gave them short fields. We didn't make them drive a whole lot. I thought Sarah hit another bomb of a punt right before halftime that we didn't capitalize on, and we let Hobbs go score in 90 seconds and kind of run out the clock in the first half. So special teams-wise, PAT, that's an ongoing issue every now and then when we I think that one this week we didn't get it on the tee. So it's something all the time when we have a great snap and a great hole. Dame gets a good kick and we make PAT. So it's got to be constant and everything because those points are going to matter.
Yeah, for sure. And you figure last time you guys were coming off a loss, the team reacted really well and played better the next week, obviously against Oregon Mountain. So I mean, they certainly seem like a group that you're confident in their ability to be resilient and bounce back after having a tough night.
They are. They're a tough group of kids, and they're tough because what we put them through from January till August when we get to start of what we mentally challenged to be able to handle. Our kids showed up 6 a.m. Monday morning. We watched film. They wore their butt chewings the right way and got to learn all the little things that mattered. I mean, that game, you see the score, and it was a 21-point game. We didn't tackle well. We didn't do what we were taught defensively in executing that game plan. And if you take those little things away, that game's probably a close game. We got a shot to win, especially if we don't have that 5-minute window. We got to go back to the basics of doing what we're taught. And we have that saying, do what you're taught, not what you're thought. And what you thought. And so we got to get back to that, reemphasizing with kids. Our kids handled Monday morning very well. You can see it in their faces that they were very discouraged by their performance, especially after watching film. and seeing the plays that we let get away from us, especially offensively and not blocking down and blocking back. So those are the things that we're encouraged about. I think our kids are resilient. They've proven that. They're going to come back. We've had a really good week of practice. Now we got to be able to execute at a high level on Thursday night. And we tell our kids the whole time, like, Friday night at 7 is no different than Thursday night at 7. Ball's going on the tee and somebody's kicking it somewhere.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to it. Field the Dreams on Thursday night. Tigers take on Centennial. Good luck, Coach.
Appreciate it, man. Go Tigers.